Every misunderstanding is a treasure because once it comes into awareness, well, that's the liberation at the heart of being. Nobody's left out. Nobody's left out. Nothing is left out. Everything comes back to the banquet, the home ground. It feels like home. You can't believe you convinced yourself you weren't home. There's a sense of absolute disbelief. How did that happen? And when I've told this story, I'm going to go with Sharon's. I like my stories. Thank you, Sharon. When our daughter was 3, like so many kids, she just came in with the innocent and total understanding of her innate goodness. It was not covered with arrogance in any way. She was only 3. But she would draw these pictures and she'd say, she loved to kind of hold court. I think when we went to Thailand, there were monks like bowing to her in the street. I think she had been kind of like some sort of bigwig teacher or something. She doesn't want anything to do with that this lifetime. Nothing. But she would kind of hold court. Mother, may I grace you with my presence? Yes, you may, Adriana. And she would draw these pictures of the light streaming into the top of the head of a human being and then out the heart space. And I would say, what is it, Adri? And she would be like, Mom, God comes in and gives us our brilliancies, and then we live our brilliancies through our heart. I'm like, okay, I'm going to work on that. But, it's true. It's true. And then we want to compare ourselves to our neighbor's awakening, or compare our preferences to somebody else's preferences and deem one good and one bad, or decide that because, did something out of irritability or this, that, or the other thing, that all of a sudden, I'm part of the unlovable crowd, and in the meantime, we can just think whatever we want, man. We can color it with however we want to color it. We can color it however we want to color it. It's unconditional. It is what it is, regardless of what we put on top of it. I'm just going to read this as a closing. I can find it. Too bad with the shaking today. A dear friend of ours, during one of Sharon's retreat, asked me to, she was getting ready to go through a really, really deep transition in her life, like one that involved like divorce and child custody and houses and money and like stuff that matters when you're a mom. That stuff matters. To listen when I was at retreat, and if anything came through that, I don't know, I'm not saying it was for her, but that, would be maybe relevant, to please pass it on. It was a really cool request, actually, because what came through was very helpful here, as it always is going to be. when the inquiries and the questions pop up, the first thing that happens here is like, oh, okay, here we go. It doesn't feel like it feels like a responsive immediacy that's for everyone. Y'all feel that way for each other? Yeah, beautiful. This is along the lines of that comparative narrative and unworthy, not good enough narrative. A few years ago, I planted columbine in the rose garden. Columbine is for those of you who don't know, it's kind of a desert plant. It's a wildflower. I thought it would be pretty to see the airy columbine amongst the rose bushes. Roses need loamy, rich soil and about an inch of water every week. Those conditions for roses bring lots of blooms and strong plants that are more resistant to bugs and disease. Each year, the columbine migrate a bit further out of the rose bed, creeping towards the rocks around the bed where they naturally grow better. They have more blooms and less rot in their roots in dry, hot, less fertile ground. Beyond reason and self-consciousness, individuation occurs very naturally. Roses, columbines, in their natural environment. The columbine don't appear to be saying no to the roses or yes to the rocks. They just find their way unknowingly, moved by something greater than reason and concept, without opposition or conceptual position. We don't see caterpillars pacing the parking lot when it's time to enter the dark transmutation. The heart of the heart of matter, doesn't know anything about opening and closing, connection and disconnection. It doesn't know anything about that. It is responsive immediacy, a divine expression that is informed by, through, and as the majesty and glory of its root origin in creation. A rose is a rose is a rose. A columbine is a columbine is a columbine. You are what you are what you are. The expression grows best with the conditions that God set forth for blooming, and the heart knows what it knows beyond reason. So it's a listening to that knowing. It's never been disconnected or connected. It simply is as the boundless expression of heaven and earth. Listening, listening, moving as that, from that. Takes a little bit for the mind to get on board, for sure. It's very disorienting. It was super disorienting for an intellectual person like me when judgment and yes and no and da-da-da, me and them and all that fell out, because how the hell are you going to make a decision if you don't have your justifications and positions? But the heart, the heart, the heart, the heart, the heart of being, it's gotcha.